Okay, and finally, our third stone, which is essentially guiding us through this journey. We're being guided, activated by the crocite, sort of delves deeper into what we are healing within ourselves, in our sacrals, especially through the ruby. And then Zircon really lifts us into a new frequency, and that frequency is change. It's essentially the transformative key that helps us on a new trajectory to have the strength and courage and vitality and willpower to decide a different path for ourselves, and ultimately to be able to integrate and learn from all that we have been through in our pasts, bringing us more in tune with what we're stepping into. So we're not so much focusing on what's been, we're focusing on where we want to go. So Zircon, as I mentioned in the previous video, is actually sand. It's what makes up most of the riverbeds of the world, as well as all the coastlines. And there's nothing that changes more than coastlines and riverbeds, right? As water moves through, and again, this reference to the water, which is connected in with this sacral energy, water and emotions move us, continually are shaping us and changing us, just like the beaches and the riverbeds of the world, constantly changing over time. So often when we are going through big transitions in our lives, we will take a holiday to the beach. You know, it's often that, like, to get away from it all the stress, all the moving pieces. You just want to go lay on the sand, hear the lap of the ocean at your feet, or perhaps by a beautiful lake. Anywhere where there's water, it sort of brings peace, clarity, and calm to our emotional bodies. But it's not just the water that is the healing element here. It's the actual foundational bedrocks and the sand, the silicate minerals, and the zircon that is actually helping us transform from inside and out. So when we come back from our holidays, from our periods of rest, we are often different. We're different people. Yes, we can get stuck into the same, pathways, but often when we give ourselves the time and the space of stillness, of calmness, of introspection, it helps us to see a bigger picture, to see where we might have got off path. We may have been distracted or taken segues in our life's journey, and maybe it's sort of reconnected us into what lights us up and what we actually want as an outcome for our lives, what we want to be moving towards. Perhaps it's more of a stressless experience. When we're in those spaces of reflection, we can go, wow, I've taken on a lot this year. Maybe that's a bit much for me, and maybe moving forward, I'm going to just adjust my schedule a bit to be more at ease and at peace. So it's interesting just to see how naturally we engage with nature around us to help reset our bodies. So the other very interesting thing about zircon is it is the mineral that is melted down to make computer chips. So this also very much connects it with change and evolution and future. It's very futuristic in that way, because we think about the dawn of the technological era. I mean, things have just moved so fast, and especially now as we have, the advent of AI coming out, it's like, the speed at which things are going is so fast. And, change can feel scary. Change can bring up a lot of fear, especially when we've been, our normal has been the same for, say, a decade or something. We've done the same thing, everything was working fine, and then at some point in our lives, some big pivotal moment, everything feels broken, and we know we can't do the same thing. We have to let go of certain ways of being in order to adopt a whole new way of being, to adapt to the constant changing environment. So not only is this stone connected with rapid movement, change, futuristic sort sort of like forward thinking, forward planning, and moving in the trajectory of forward, it also connects us in with our ancestry because it's an ancient stone. I mean, you think about riverbeds and beaches have been on the planet for ages, you know, forever. So it's like, it's ancient, and it taps us into a lot of our also ancestral patternings, our ways of being that are learnt and copied from the generation before. And what worked for those generations are not always going to work for future generations. So, you know, Zircon really helps us to not only look back, but also to look forward, and in that process, come to a space of just insight where we have to not only just let go of certain things. It's not just about clearing out, it's actually about learning and embodying and taking the jewels of our challenges and sort of encoding them within ourselves to make better decisions moving forward, like more informed, more wise decisions on what we're wanting to move towards. It also speaks very much to rites of passages. So rites of passages are big pivotal change points in our lives. So that would be, for example, you know, from going from a child to an adult, from becoming a parent, from going through, you know, different stages of life all the way up until death. But even within our lives, we are constantly journeying with the processes of death and rebirth. And, you know, our culture is not so comfortable with the death part. We're all about the birth and the high energy and the expansion phase, but the other end of the spectrum doesn't really appeal to us so much, and if anything, initiates fear within us. So it's a really good stone to help to instill trust in yourself to be able to move through the stages of life, through transitions of birth, growth, decay, death, and rebirth, and continual processes that like literally don't stop. Doesn't matter how old you are or what age you are, we're constantly going through these cycles. And as if you're a woman as well and you have your menses, you also have that very much ingrained, you know, the pull of the tides and the moons on our body is very obvious. So this wisdom is really encoded with this stone, with Zircon. So if you're someone who feels like you've experienced a lot of setbacks, a lot of failures, which has led to feeling self-doubt, maybe feeling a bit like scared to make change because you've tried it before and it didn't work out so well for you. And, you know, I think as we get older, we get less malleable to setbacks. So Zircon really helps us with having the trust and the courage within the self to actually integrate everything we've learned from any setbacks, any perceived failures, and to be able to dream up a new dream and to begin again. There's a beautiful Buddhist term, is anicca, which is begin again, begin again. Every time you feel like you fucked it up, just anicca, anicca, begin again. So this just really helps us to come back to the center, come back to that trust, see where we've come from, see where we're going, and know that life is about change. It's the only thing that is inevitable, right? It's one of those things that there's no amount of ignoring it or rejecting it that's going to stop change. So it's a really wonderful frequency to work with. And often when the frequency of Zircon comes to us, often in the form of spiders, so its animal totem is a spider, which is very much, you know, in a lot of different mythology about weaving webs or weaving creation, the creation myths. in North America of the Spider Woman, which is about the universal threads of reality, how we weave our futures. And often when we're on the brink of change and this frequency comes to us, it already implies that we've moved through the challenge. We've already moved through a lot of the heavy lifting, and all that's unfolding in this point is both the inner and outward transformation. So yeah, it's an exciting energy to work with and to finalize this particular trinity. So I want to just review the 3 crystals that we're working with in the sacral chakra. So we're starting the energy with that really fiery, feminine, potent, upward rising energy of crocite, lighting a flame under us, so to speak, asking us, what are you passionate about? We're channeling that energy up and to filter through the heart, and Ruby is going to filter all this primal, creative energy that is stuck in our body and often trapped in there, is awakening it into a space where we can really see, okay, are there any blocks there that are stopping the energy from flowing? And let's have the courage, let's have the open-hearted courage and the warrior spirit to go deep into those and to transform those so we can make big changes in our lives. I'm going to read to you at the end of, in your notes, at the end of these trinities, I like to weave the message of the 3 together, because individually they have their own specific meanings and energies they bring to the table, but when you're working with them together, they weave a beautiful tapestry that are very similar frequencies. Yeah, it's really nice to just notice in your own experience as you move through this next month, just how these energies and this combined frequency helps you to activate your passions, helps you to find your vitality, your courage, and your trust in self to create a new way. So this is the song of crocite, ruby, and zircon. When I feel the stirring of my passion and have the courage to channel this energy up and out, through my heart into the world, I initiate great transformation and change. So that's a good one to leave on, and I wish you the best for this journey ahead. Much love.